Hi everyone, and welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are very excited about our two topics today, so we're going to dive right in and talk about our first topic, which is bowling.
Bowling.
Strike. Spare.
Three strikes and you're out. I do believe that's
No,
a
that's a
bowling
turkey.
term.
That's a turkey.
For Thanksgiving?
No, 3 strikes in
No,
bowling. You
I
get a
know
turkey.
Oh my gosh, she's trying to turn this into a 1920 vaudeville
Oh,
sketch.
boy.
Gobble it all up.
Okay, so bowling. Are you guys good at bowling?
I
Let's
love
just
bowling.
Be generic.
I don't do it often, but every time I go, I've never had a bad time.
Yeah.
I think I'm guaranteed at least one strike for however long a game lasts. I think the probability for even a bad bowler is to at least get one strike because you're bound to do it right accidentally, and I feel like that's me.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate. I usually get at least one.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh yeah, and then you're on a high and then you try to do it again.
And then 20 gutter balls after that.
Gutter. Yeah.
The last time we went bowling, so me and Sarah and an old high school friend of ours, we went bowling for my birthday. And Sarah said something. She went up and she got a gutter ball and she was like, oh my gosh, the rotation of the earth threw me off. And I was like, what are you talking about? The rotation of the earth? She's like, well, the earth is always spinning, right?
Yeah.
And it's rotating.
At 20,000 miles an
and
hour.
she's like, and the earth is on this axis. She gave this whole thing and she's like, because of the earth's rotation, it made my ball go to the left and end up in the gutter. And I was like, that is the most scientific cop-out excuse I have ever. The rotation of the earth threw me off.
But I did get trained to laugh very hard at that. No,
because I've heard a lot of excuses like, oh, I missed the shot, whatever. But the rotation of the earth, that is definitely a first for me.
I mean, I know I said that to be stupid, but at the same time, there's got to be something to it. Like you start to bowl and it looks straight, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then it starts to slightly veer just a little bit. I'm like, no, what? Why are you moving? No, and then you try to air push it, go that way. So that's why I'm like, well, I guess it's the Earth's rotation. I bowl right as it was turning on its axis.
I would start with the lanes being crooked and maybe the owner's like, oh well, you can't get a strike, so I'm gonna.
These are rental shoes.
Yeah,
I didn't get the right ones.
Well, I didn't
wrong size.
I didn't think about that. You think the floor might be slightly askew to pander to
No. You threw a gutter.
Alan's coming in with the hard facts. You suck.
No, it's never my fault. It's somebody else's. That's how that works.
Do you remember, or let me ask you this. So before, bowling alleys modernized or whatever, do you remember that you used to have a overhead projector and you had grease pencils and you would mark your frames and then it would be projected? Yeah.
Oh, like you actually used to do it manually, huh? Or
yeah. Well, and then it went into computerized to where you'd punch in what you scored, and then now it's pretty much done automatically for you.
I'm kind of glad because to be honest, I really don't know enough of the game.
You know enough to roll the ball and hit the pins, and then someone else does the math for you.
And then it magically
pretty much.
returns. The ball comes back out of a portal.
Oh, well, actually funny you say that because I didn't know this because I haven't been alive that long, but I've met people and they're like one of their first jobs in high school or college was they actually had people that will manually reset the pins.
Well, Dan,
I didn't know
said that.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was one of
Dan
his
say
jobs.
that?
Yeah.
And so I guess in my mind, because I had never seen it, I'm like, okay, they actually have people. I didn't realize it until I watched an old movie and I saw people. There was a guy sitting on the edge and then waited for the pins to fall or whatever. And they said, I'm like, okay, so that was a job. People used to actually set that up, and I guess that just seemed like a weird concept to me because you're used to seeing something automatic.
And you know who the first people that would set up pins? Children.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it
orphans.
sounds kind of dangerous, but at the same
Sounds very
time,
Oliver Twist.
It was, yeah. We did a story
Please, can I
on
strike some
a
more?
World War II veteran, and he either ran away or his father died, and somehow he got left behind or something in Wichita.
oh gosh.
Yeah, as a boy, and bowling alleys were hotspots for runaways or orphans or whatnot because they'd have cots back there.
Oh, so it'd
And-
be easy to kind of.
Yeah, you just go back there. You could sleep, and then as soon as the pins got knocked down, as your alarm clock, wake up and set them up, and then you can make like 25 cents or something like that.
Man, that'd be a rude
Make
awakening.
a nickel.
That'd be so scary that you're in this deep sleep.
Yeah, it
and
probably
then you
wasn't
just hear,
safe.
No.
Not a
Not
good
at all.
childhood.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's terrible.
Anyway,
That is.
sorry.
Bowling.
Facts.
Okay,
It
bowling.
was in the gutter.
Bowling shoes. This sounds really weird, but I like the style of bowling shoes.
Bowling
That is
shoes
weird.
were actually a thing for a quick minute. I
It
want to say
was.
maybe like 1998 or
You're
so.
right. I
There
remember
was a
people would
style-
steal them.
Well, no, like people were designing.
They were designing them
shoes
to look like that.
bowling shoes.
Yeah, well, because bowling shoes, there's like no traction, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be good. But I have
No,
I
it's
have
not.
seen.
I had friends that would steal them, and
Okay,
and then
no,
they
we
would
didn't
be
do that. We
slipping and
actually bought
sliding all
ours.
over the place. Yeah. One of the things that was fun, at least for me, growing up, going to the bowling alley, was the concession stand. They usually sold food that you couldn't get other places. Like
Oh,
it was,
really? Like
yeah.
what?
Well, it's just like a greasy spoon. Like their version of a quesadilla is, just drippy cheese and it
Oh,
was
it's
just
like-
always good.
So kind of like what you have at like the skating rink. It'd be that kind of stuff.
I can
So,
remember,
or
too.
arcade
Yeah.
games,
Like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, my dad was like, hey, let's go get some food. And I think it was a quesadilla. And I was like, okay. And we pulled up to a bowling alley. I'm like, what are we doing here? He's like, yeah, they got great quesadillas. And I'm like, okay.
I'll
all
take
right.
your word for it.
And they were really good. But bowling alleys just,
yeah.
they're no nonsense. And I think that's the appeal of bowling alleys is you don't go in there thinking that, it's high society. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever gotten concessions at a bowling alley. And
Now
'cause I
we
feel like,
seldom get food from places.
well,
like that.
because growing up, you have that like, oh, can I get a pizza? We got pizza at home.
Yeah,
Like,
it's too expensive.
Yeah, so like I don't remember unless we specifically went out or like if we went to Chuck E. Cheese or something like that. Like unless we specifically went to a place
Yeah.
to get food, we usually never
We
got.
never
And I know
did that.
you guys, so you're not going to the bowling alley for beer.
No.
No,
Six ago.
I don't know. I feel intoxication would probably make you even worse of a bowler
Sarah
than
gets
probably what you
intoxicated
were.
when she gets that strike. When finally, after like 20 gutter balls, she gets that. She's like, yeah, she doesn't need a drink after that.
Well, that kind of brings up another thing because honestly, I really know nothing about bowling aside from taking a ball, rolling it,
Mm-hmm.
and then pray and hope that it goes into a strike. But like,
And at the Earth's rotation.
and that the
it'll
Earth's
throw you off.
rotate, and that the Earth's rotation will work in my favor. But like, one thing I never really knew is that like the weight of the ball. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I picked one that was too heavy or too light. Like I always wondered like what's the perfect.
And also
The
the finger
average.
holes. And
The
making-
finger holes,
Yeah,
yes.
it could be too small, too tight, and then it sticks. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go. I know that my sister is a competitive bowler, and the other thing
Oh,
that
okay.
bowling does for a lot of organizations and companies and things, it creates like a bonding experience, where you have like a league, and she's a part of a league that competes both locally, and then I think they're going to Las Vegas for some
Ooh.
sort of a national
So she's like-
competition.
Okay.
She's like legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you're talking
And
about
she's
the
got
finger
her-
holes.
she's got
That's
her
how you know
own-
you're a
yeah.
rookie if you're using the finger holes. Because I
Okay.
bet your sister probably does like the little. She like doesn't use the finger holes. She holds it and like does that twisty motion.
Oh, I don't know.
Like
I'm
I've
sure there's a
seen people
different
that
knack,
have
I'm sure.
weird. Because
They have, like,
I mean,
different ways
there's
to hold it,
There's
yeah.
like the most common is the three fingers. Pull it back let it go or roll it down. Then there's some people that like what you're talking about. They palm it,
Yeah,
and then they
hold
like
it and they do a twisty motion.
yeah, and they're starting the spin, so it looks like it's going to go into the gutter, and then
then it turns
boom.
last minute. Yeah,
Yeah,
they can work the Earth's
the Earth's
rotation.
rotation works in their favor.
Yeah, they're the ones that are working it.
See, those impress me, and like when it comes to like tournaments and stuff, that's why I'm like, part of me wishes like at school, like they didn't have it at the school I was at, but I know a lot of universities actually have bowling as a physical exercise class. You know,
Our school used to have one, then they tore it down.
Yeah,
yeah, because I feel like maybe that would have been something I would have been good at, because it just sounds like you just rolling. I know there's more to it than that.
well, that's it.
but-
It's like golf. There's a physical aspect to it, but it's more of a mental game. It's more of a how do I use
Like chess.
the tools? Yeah, and that's why you go 2 boards to the right, with this ball, and then with this other ball, I gotta back it.
And wind resistance and
Yeah, and how far you're gonna go,
Yeah.
things like that. But how do you get to the bowling alley?
you have to drive
Sure.
a car out.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, look, that's our second topic today.
We did it.
Cars. Thank you, Alan. Okay, I gotta admit, I don't really know too much about cars. I do know how to change a tire. I learned that. I think it was a couple years after high school I learned how to change a tire. But like,
You know who knows how to change tires?
who?
People at bowling alleys. They could help you out there, Cherry.
Yeah, yeah.
that they at least know how to roll the tire too.
That's right. In the gutter.
No, but since we're on the topic of tires,
Sure.
I want to say maybe 2015 or so, because I very rarely get new tires.
They're so expensive.
Yeah, so like there's
Heartbreakingly
there's
expensive.
good used tire stores that we've gone to.
Yeah.
There was one particular moment where I had to like get all 4 new tires. So here I go. Charity's an adult. She just paid for 4 new for me tires, and then I get a flat tire.
Oh no.
So then my dad comes to rescue me, puts the spare on, whatever. Then I get a second flat tire. Well, nobody has 2 spares. Anyway, by the end of this story, I've got 4 flat tires. I'm like, who gets 4 flat tires at the same time? Yeah, that's
like in the span of a week, a month?
Well, I have a weird reputation with cars. So this
Charity was driving down the street full of tacks and nails and just driving down.
this particular story actually happened in the same day.
In the same day?
Yeah.
All
So,
4 tires in one
we
day?
don't go to that used tire shop anymore.
No.
my dad found a better one for us to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do you guys have any bad luck car stories? Because I've got a ton.
I got one that's terrible and super embarrassing that just came up into my mind. So one of the cool things about wintertime in Kansas is we get ice, and usually that's super scary.
Yeah.
I love to hydroplane.
no.
I think it's fun, and I like to do it. Every time I try to even spin a tire on ice, my wife freaks out.
I was gonna say, you have to do that by yourself.
I
and, like,
totally
you
have to do that.
Valuable cargo,
Yeah.
like your daughters.
But it's a valuable skill to be able to not have traction and then not panic. And so every once in a while,
That's true.
Well, it's like a winter form of Tokyo drifting down the rock road, where all that happens.
So where that can go awry, Sarah, is when you're 16 years old and you're trying to impress a girl and you're in the church parking lot, hydroplaning,
Church parking lot. That just made the story
cutting
greater.
all kinds of donuts, and then you just saw Ace Ventura, and one of the scenes of Ace Ventura is he like Tokyo drifts like into a parking spot and says like a glove. And so I was doing that, except my drift went into the curb and bent the axle, the rear axle of not even my car. It was our first car. So my dad's old car that went to my sister, then went to me, and then eventually to my brother. But at this point, I was driving it, and the wheel, is supposed to be 90 degrees to the ground. It was at 45.
Oh gosh!
Not only that, a cop pulls into the parking lot.
Oh no!
And he said, "Hey, I've been watching you for a little bit, buddy. Looks like the fun's over, huh?" And I was like, "Oh no!" And he was saying, "Can you drive it at all?" And I said, "I think so." And so he said, "I'm gonna follow you home, just to make sure you get there safe, and don't ever do this
really
again."
Nice cop then.
Well, I had to do a lot of explaining to him that I wasn't just a hooligan. There's
this girl, right?
You don't understand. I just watched Ace Ventura. It was supposed to be like a glove. But also, he thought that I might just be driving around. But when I told him that this was my church's parking lot and I attend here, and he was like, whatever. So
you had to call your pastor out.
Exactly. So he followed me home, and I'm sitting there with the girl that I'm driving, and we're ba-bunk, 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 ba-bunk at like 15 miles an hour.
Sure that impressed
all the
her.
way home. Yeah, she was howling with laughter, and I was just dripping with shame. And then I had to explain it to my dad, and he said, "It was a lot of fun, huh?" He's like, "Who's going to pay for that axle?" And I was like,
my girlfriend?
yeah. She told me to do it.
This woman thou givest me.
Yeah. Tammy.
Yeah, so did you ever see Tammy again after that?
Probably, but
Except she drove
not
that
for
time.
that much longer. Yeah.
It's like, this time let's just walk.
I like how the cop was like, "I've been watching you for a while."
Yeah.
That's the kicker there. Just
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just sitting there waiting for me to crash.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
can come in and be like, "Wee, wee, wee."
He was probably waiting for me to leave the as soon as I leave the parking lot. Then he would have turned on his lights. But yeah.
He got impatient. He's like, well, maybe
Well,
I can.
mean,
No, I
after
think
he
I
crashed the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing to do.
He's like, "I think I should step in now."
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
So yeah, you guys do dumb stuff like that?
I've never been one to be reckless with my car. There have been other people that have been reckless in front, and
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking
She was
directly
like,
at you.
"There's some other people." I'm
You
like,
did kind of
"Wait
say
a
that
second,
as you were looking
wait
at her.
a second."
No, I didn't mean it that way. I was looking at you while I was talking.
Uh-huh.
No. I think we're pretty good with the cars. It's just being around other stupid people. So
Well, that's always that's the miracle that we go through in this North American death trap, is that we have some sort of unspoken like rule that you stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine, and
until they don't,
and then it's a tragedy, and then you realize, what are we doing in these boxes? Traveling at these speeds.
But see, now there's like automatic cars that are slowly starting to work their
Yeah.
way in. So like after a while, I mean, I guess with automatic cars, you wouldn't really need a car. Like it would just, everything's going to be more like Uber taxi type service, and then the automatic car just comes and drops you off.
Yeah.
It almost reminded me of like I almost liken it unto like an amusement park. So like you're going on the roller
the bumper
coaster.
cars?
Well, no, it's just the fact that it's almost like the device comes to you, you sit, and then it just takes you.
Like a subway.
Like a subway or a monorail or something like that. It's just maybe in separate compartments as if you're in a car. Because after a while,
They call that a bus.
Well, I figure it would still be individualized, because if you're going to get an automatic car, you're not buying an automatic bus unless you have a big family.
I mean, if
or
everyone
something,
has
right?
like on a bus, you have to sit in your seat. Like you don't get your own little bubble. Are you talking
Yeah.
about that? Like
Well, 'cause
everyone gets their own little bubble to sit in.
Essentially, yeah. So I mean, it's compartment. I don't know. I can kind of see it almost like compartmentalized.
Yeah. For a second, I was glimpsing. Are you like some sort of metropolis or
Maybe because I'm
the
I'm
future
wondering,
city?
I'm wondering if they're
City of
if they're
tomorrow?
trying to do that. Yeah. I mean, I guess seemingly to eliminate accidents and stuff, but maybe to make going from A to B even quicker.
Yeah.
So then you might not have to go through as many traffic lights. Or, see, the thing is also to save time. So, you're sitting in front of the traffic light and it turns green. You don't leave immediately as it turns green, because you might have 10 or 10
I do.
hour to-
I time it all the time.
Oh, you do?
I'm always and I pride myself. I'm always like the first to take off.
But if you're the first in line, great. But if you're like the seventh,
No.
it's
I'm
still-
timing
it's
that
still
out too.
Oh,
So
really?
I count. It's green. 3 cars in front of me. Here I go in 3, 2, 1, step on the gas.
That's the
Yeah.
production director in you.
Exactly.
And go for camera 1.
Ready, green car. Take
Hold
green
it.
car.
We're
Hold
live. We're
5,
live.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Alan, getting hot there.
Yeah.
Getting hot.
Get a little hot. Get a little hot. But
Iris down on that stoplight there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gosh, we're such nerds. Little production geeks.
Okay, gonna truck to the left, truck back to the right.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, and like right now we're talking like practical cars. You know, is there like a dream car you would like to have? Like if money was no object, what kind of car would you
Oh,
want?
truck.
Like a Ford of some sort?
No, Toyota Tundra.
Oh, Toyota.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
Yeah, get it
best.
right.
I like how you looked at me like, no,
Yeah.
you simpleton.
You
Yeah.
peasant.
If you can afford it, get a Toyota Tundra.
But there's the word Ford in a Ford, right?
There is the problem with trucks now. Like, okay, let me ask you this, because I guarantee you haven't shopped for pickup trucks, right?
No. I
Okay,
haven't.
so Ford F-150 is kind of the standard.
Middle of the road, if
Right.
you will.
Yeah, Chevy Silverado, okay, Toyota Tundra. Those are kind of their
Like top
standard.
tier.
Yeah, okay. How much do you think that it retails for?
Oh goodness, I have no.
You've seen car commercials, just guess.
Just a guess.
They don't even show prices
They don't
anymore.
really
Yeah,
show
that's
not,
true.
not
It's
as
so
much.
ridiculous.
I don't know.
I just gave you a hint. It's ridiculous.
50,000?
Keep going higher.
Like 75?
There you go. $75,000 for a new pickup truck.
Gosh.
Yeah,
It's funny because pickup
that's a
trucks
half a
used to
house
be like,
or a house.
That's like what used to look down on. It's like, oh, that guy's driving a pickup. Like
Yeah.
some country
Yeah.
bumpkin poor guy. Now it's like a fancy
now
thing.
pickups do so much more than
Yeah.
Than what they
pickups
used
from 30 years ago would do, but still $75,000
That's
for
a
it.
lot.
That's so much. Anyway, but if money wasn't an object, yeah, that's what I would be driving off the lot today.
Oh, well, that's any color? What color?
Well, that's a good question.
Such a female question. What
Yeah.
color do you want?
Pink with little diamonds on them.
Yeah, I don't really
Barbie's
have.
first truck.
Although I do like a neutral, like a black, white, or a gray, like a Gunsmoke that has some accent colors, like
Okay.
pops of red or pops of blue and things like that. I think that's pretty slick.
Now, what about you, Chair? Dream car? Of
I
some
mean,
sort?
if we're gonna go, the first thing came to my mind was James Bond, Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
Oh.
Just because it's James Bond,
Yeah.
So I would like sort of maybe like a midnight blue. Okay, this is gonna. I made fun of you for being female. I'm about to sound really female. So I have this nail polish.
It's gotta match the nails.
I have this nail polish where it's like a deep blue purple mix with like
Okay.
a little bit of shimmer to it,
Ooh,
and that's like
yeah.
my favorite nail polish. And I would love a car in that color.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my turn to be really female, but that's the
Okay.
color that came to mind.
Admittedly, I've yet to see a purplish Aston Martin, but there's always
Oh well, if I'm
customized.
rich enough to get one, I'm getting
You
a
can
custom
customize.
made, custom color. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I've always wondered. I had thought about an Aston Martin, but I really like the classic look of a Lincoln Continental.
Yeah.
Just because it's like what the old school Hollywood
Well, Lincolns
people
look
used to have.
good.
And I'm like, that's a classic, classy car. Maybe a Rolls Royce, but I kind of like the Lincoln Continentals.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the.
I feel like if you have a Rolls Royce, you need a driver. Like you wouldn't. You don't
That's true.
drive that
You wouldn't drive a Rolls Royce, would
No,
you?
you need a chauffeur.
What are you talking about? The whole point of driving is driving.
well, that's the sound of a
Can you see
poverty-stricken
Sarah driving her
person.
fancy car? I'm gonna go to Dillon's and look for a manager special
I come in
clearance
with my-
item.
with my yellow stickers and stuff. Pull up in
I saved so much money. Now I can make my car payment.
Crazy.
So I guess it'd be a toss up between a Rolls Royce and a Lincoln Continental. So yeah, that's that's our car choice.
This has been a great conversation, and we are gonna bring it to a close. We talked
Oh,
about
a screeching halt, if you will.
Oh,
Love
you should
it.
take that out. That sounded terrible.
It sounded so bad. It's staying.
That's
staying, yeah.
It's staying.
That's my try at making my own sound effects. I'm going to give it to Sarah and let her tell you how you can listen to all of our episodes and find us on social media.
Yes, so if you want to shift your listening into high gear, then
Oh Oh my gosh. You've been waiting to use that one.
Hey, Alan does corny jokes. I want to be on his level with his puns. Yeah, so just take a listen to our podcast. The best time to listen to it is in the car anyway, so we can entertain you while you're on the highway doing fun stuff. So just check us out on doublestuffpod.com. All of our episodes are on there. You can listen to our latest episodes on all the different podcast platforms. Of course, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast, and of course on Twitter, and that's at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.